So just so you guys know, I watched the first two Insidious films last weekend just so I could get caught up and immersed into this world, so I'd be prepped for Insidious 3, knowing all the character connections and all that. And then it's a prequel. That's lovely. Hello once again, watchers of good movies. My name is Nick Pell, and this is once again coming from my apartment. So today I'm going to be talking about the film Insidious Chapter 3. This is the third film in the now Insidious trilogy. I hope that stays a trilogy, because at this point it can only go downward. So it may have started that already, actually. The film stars Lynn Shay as Elise. She is the same old lady, psychic person from the first two films. This film basically shows how she got back into the swing of being a psychic and helping people who are dealing with demonic possessions and stuff of that nature. And so that's what this film is essentially about. And they used Stephanie Scott's character Quinn for this because she is a girl who's an aspiring actress. She wants to go to acting school in New York or something. And her mother has died in the last year or two, and so she tries to call out to her mother, and she ends up calling out to something else entirely. So then Elise is trying to help Quinn deal with this entity, which is dealing with her. Lynn Shay continues to give an outstanding performance in these films. She really gives her all in this role, and I really enjoyed seeing that. She is a very fun character to see because she is easily the most knowledgeable about everything that's going on. In the first two films, there are people who just had no idea what was happening. It's like, what do we do? She just comes in and she takes care of business, and it's really neat to see. And she is very much like that at the start of this film as well. The start of this film, though, is so slow. It felt like an entirely different movie until we started seeing demons pop up and everything. It was just so agonizingly slow at the start. So that's one of a few issues I had with this film. But I did enjoy getting to learn a bit more about Elise's character herself. We get to learn kind of her backstory, why she kind of quit doing psychic stuff, a little bit more of her connections to the family from the first two films, and it's just kind of a neat thing to see. I would have liked to see a lot more connection to the first two films, though, because there's little hints here or there. It's like, oh, that's a fun little Easter egg, that's how that came about, and that's how that's connected. But it's really just little bits and pieces that we see of connections to the first two films, and that kind of bugged me, because this felt like just a film off on its own, not really connected to the first two films, aside from these little bits and pieces. I would have liked to see what happens at the end of Chapter 2, because we see at least seeing something, assumably some sort of entity that is present in this film, and it never calls back to that. Even at the end, it doesn't show what she saw, and that really bugged me, because that's now very open-ended. It might lead into Chapter 4 of Insidious, which probably will, but it bugged me a little bit, because I want to see Chapter 2 along with this film like connect to each other, and they really don't. Aside from, they bring in the two guys who help her out and stuff, they show how they met and everything, but aside from that, it's not really that connected and interspersed, and it kind of bugged me a little bit, having just watched the first two films and expected a little bit more of that. CGI, though, continues to look very, very good whenever they go into the further, or just the demons, and I don't know how much of it is CGI and how much is just costume and makeup. Whatever it is, it looks really, really neat, and they continue to create this really eerie sense whenever there is a demon about or coming to get somebody. There's a sequence where you have this demon walking around a bedroom and basically closing off all source of light, and it's easily the most eerie scene in the whole film, because you just, the girl is just incapable of doing anything to defend herself at this point, and it is kind of freaky. There's also like a small love interest which is established at the beginning of the film, but is not really touched on after about 20 minutes into the movie. It's just never brought back really into existence, and they never really emphasize it. It's like, why was that even there? Was it necessary? Not really, because it's never really brought up and worked on or anything. Despite the slow first couple hour of this film, it does really pick up in the last act of this film, because that's where we get more into what the feel of the first two Insidious films were. We got this demon stuff happening, we have people going into the further, and it's just really cool. There was even like an Evil Dead possession-y bit, which I really, really liked, because for some reason that really something I enjoy. I don't know why. But there's a part where someone does get possessed, and it very much brought back that scene from Evil Dead where it's like, you're all gonna die tonight. And I like that. But yeah, those are essentially my thoughts on Insidious Chapter 3. I thought all the actors did fine in their roles. They did about as well as you would expect. Lin Shaye did phenomenal as usual. But this is probably my least favorite out of the three that are out right now. 2 is probably my favorite, and then you got 1 this. And having just watched the first 2 and having that sort of dynamic and that sort of tone to the films and everything is very connected. I love the second one because it connected so well into the first one, and pieces were filled in, gaps made more sense, and it all worked really, really nicely. And then we have this one, which is it has like little tidbits here or there, but it's not really that important to the main 2 movies, and that kind of bugged me. I would have liked to see like something very big, which is like, oh, this is why all this started to happen, or this is why the demons decided to go for the child, or I don't know, something like that. It just bugged me a little bit. So anyway, those are my thoughts on Insidious Chapter 3. Let me know yours in the comments down below. Did you like the movie as much as I did? Did you hate it more than I did? Let me know. Like, for a comment, and subscribe. Once again, if you so choose, I'd appreciate it immensely. And as always, my good people, my name is Nick Pell. And once again, keep on watching.